Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is your beginner's guide to camera lens filters. Now, I know when I started shooting a lot of camera accessories, but specifically for this video, camera lens filters were really intimidating for me, and they can be seen as kind of an extra thing that you don't really need. But I'm here to tell you that that couldn't be further from the truth. So camera filters play a key part in not only just protecting your gear, but actually improving the quality of your content and actually allow for some cool effects that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Today we're going to talk about the 3 types of lens filters that you need on absolutely every shoot as a photographer or as a videographer, and even as a beginner. These types of filters are a UV filter, a polarizing filter, and ND filters. My first tip for you guys is that lens filters come in many different sizes, and that's because your lenses come in many different sizes. So you have to purchase a lens filter that is the exact same size as the glass on your lens. And in order to find out how large that is on your camera lens, you can actually read the little numbers that should be written somewhere on the lens, usually around the rim, and it'll say a number of millimeters. So that's how you know which filter is going to fit your lens. The first filter I'm going to talk about is a UV filter. So let me just show you guys what this looks like. So as you can see, so yeah, it's completely clear. That's because it serves 2 purposes. The first purpose, as its name says, it's a UV filter, so it's meant to reduce or prevent UV rays from hitting the sensor of your camera. And the result that that has is it actually reduces haziness or bluish cast in your photo or in your video. Mainly, I love these guys because it's just another level of protection for my camera lens. So it's the kind of thing you can just screw onto your lens and completely forget about, because it's a lot easier to replace one of these if you drop your lens and this gets broken versus the actual glass on your camera lens. So it's way more expensive and way more difficult to do. Investing in something like this can actually not only improve the quality of your final image, but it just protects your gear. Let's just seal this baby back up. And the next filter we're going to talk about is a circular polarizing filter. So when you hear the word polarizing, immediately you probably think of your sunglasses, right? So this actually has a very similar effect. This is really important in landscape photography or in any outdoor photography, actually. It just makes your colors much more vibrant and can actually reduce reflections, like on water, for example. So the blues in your sky are really gonna pop with this, and the greens and grass are really gonna pop with this too. So how you use this guy is once you have your shot all framed up, you just screw this baby on and you just start twisting it around until you really start to see those colors pop. And you really start to notice that you're cutting back those reflections and you can see the full effect of this filter. So again, a really useful and easy to use lens filter. Last but not least, we have ND filters. And the really cool part about these lenses is that wait a second, just keep waiting. So what I love about this packaging and this particular brand of filter is that you can screw them all together and keep them all together, but still they are protected. The purpose of an ND filter is it actually reduces the amount of light that is being let into your lens and therefore let into your image. The purpose of this, I find, is super useful for video because as you video people know, you need to keep your shutter speed at a certain number. Need to keep your shutter speed at a certain place. And usually if you're shooting 24 frames, that would be 1/50. In order to do that on a super bright and sunny day, you need one of these guys because it's going to cut down the amount of light being let into your camera and it's going to allow you to keep that shutter speed that you want. And this is also super important for photography, but I'm gonna get to that a little later on. The cool thing about ND filters is that there are different levels of light reduction, and so that correlates to a number on the ND filter itself. Usually after you'll see the ND written on the filter, there's a number, and that means the amount of light is reduced by 1 over whatever that number is. So this one, for example, is ND8. So the amount of light is being reduced by 1/8. So the lower the number of the ND filter, the more light is being reduced. So I know this is kind of confusing, so I've actually linked a full chart in the description below, just explaining how this numbering system works. And I know that some ND filters actually have a different numbering system. So just review that chart to make sure that you're buying the right ND filters that are reducing the amount of light that you want. As you guys can see, I have several ND filters here and they're all fixed numbers, but you can go out and get a variable ND filter, and that works kind of similarly to how the polarizing filter works. You can just screw it on and you can turn it to get different amounts amounts of light reduction. So that's actually really handy for those of you in video when you're on a shoot and you're running gun and you don't want to always be changing your filters. So maybe consider picking up a variable ND instead of these fixed ones. ND filters are also super important for photographers and in achieving a particular effect in your photography. So I'm gonna go over this really quickly. It's not gonna be super in-depth because I'm not gonna walk you through exactly how to take this type of photo, but I'm just gonna run through kind of why it works. On a super bright day, or maybe you're going and shooting out at about sunset and you wanna get some kind of long exposure of like water moving or clouds moving, and in order to do that, you have to lower your shutter, right? And you can't totally do that because you're letting in tons of light and there's still a lot of light outside. So what you do is you pop on an ND filter and that allows you to reduce your shutter speed and take that long exposure photo. So here are a couple examples of that. Let me know in the comments if you want a full breakdown of how to take a photo like that in the middle of the day, and then I can go into more detail and hopefully that will be explained better than how I did this right now. A couple of final notes before you guys go out and start buying these camera lens filters. Some cameras don't have filter threads, so just make sure that your lens actually has those threads on them so that you can buy a camera lens filter like this. The second thing you need to keep in mind is sort of what I mentioned at the beginning, is that there are different sizes of lens filters. So instead of buying multiple different ones for all your different lenses in different sizes, buy the filter size of your largest lens and then consider picking up some step-up rings so you can use that larger filter on the smaller lenses. You guys are probably wondering what lens filters I use, and these are from Gobe. The guys at Gobe actually sent these to me, and I have to admit, I really do love them, and here's why. First of all, the packaging is multi-use, and I can continue to use this as a case for all my filters. And like I mentioned, all of the ND filters screw into each other, and they have this top portion and the bottom portion, so I can keep them all together. It's perfect for travel. Aside from the packaging and aside from how awesome these lens filters really are, I love that Gobe partners with Eden Projects. So a portion of the proceeds that is taken from purchasing these lens filters actually goes towards planting trees in areas that have experienced severe deforestation. So these trees are actually planted by local workers providing vital jobs for members of that community. You're getting something that you love and you need for your job or for your hobby, but it also has a really great cause attached to it. So that's why I love Gobe and I love everything that they're about. If you want to pick up these filters yourself, there is a link in the description, so go ahead and do that. Save a tree, get a filter. It's a win-win. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this video gave you a better understanding of how these 3 lens filters work. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to write them in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer all of them. But for now, if you like this video, please give it a like down below, subscribe if you're not already, and hit the notification bell to get notified when I post new videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And ND filters. Floof this side, and we're just gonna floof that side. Circular polarizing filter. And so far, I think I can hear a lot of you going on Amazon and looking up. It was a stupid joke, so I just stopped it halfway through. I was like, this is a bad joke.